Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, total world victory of Hare Krishna. Welcome to today's Bhagavad-gita As It Is class. My name is Sitapati Das.
My name is Dana Devi.
And this is Bhagavad-gita 3:35. So Bhagavad-gita, Song of God, As It Is, by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Chapter 3, titled
Karma Yoga.
Karma Yoga. Text number 35. Let's go. śreyān sva-dharmo viguṇaḥ, para-dharmāt sva-anuṣṭhitāt, sva-dharme nidhanam śreyaḥ, para-dharmo bhaya-āvahaḥ. Okay, word for word. śreyān,
Far better
sva-dharmaḥ,
one's prescribed duties,
viguṇaḥ,
even faulty,
para-dharmāt,
from duties mentioned for others,
sva-anuṣṭhitāt,
than perfectly done
sva-dharme
in one's prescribed duties,
nidhanam,
destruction,
śreyaḥ,
better,
para-dharmaḥ,
duties prescribed for others,
bhaya-āvahaḥ.
dangerous.
Translation. Take it away.
It is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though they may be faulty, than another's duties. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another one's duties.
Then another's.
Than engaging in another's duties. For to follow another's path is dangerous.
Dangerous. I knew you were going to say that.
It's dangerous. Okay, it's dangerous.
Second edition says it is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties imperfectly than to follow another's duties even perfectly. Something like that.
What is that?
So yeah, it is far better to discharge one's duties even though faultily than another's duties perfectly. Even faultily than another's duties perfectly.
Well, I question myself that.
Well, listen. Oh, you mean the actual principle itself?
Yeah, like how can you follow if it's not in your own nature, following somebody else's duty perfectly? How can you follow it perfectly? Because it's not your nature; it's not part of you. It's like, for example, for me, you're really good at IT, right? That's your thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Me trying to follow that perfectly. Will I do that? I don't think so. For me, computers is boring. Coding and all of that is like, wow. I could try, but doing it perfectly, I don't think it would be cool. I don't even know if I will do even perfectly because, it's boring. It's not my stuff. Anyways, that is just my little rant.
Yeah, we can dig into that, but I mean, this actually... Okay, so this demonstrates something very, very fundamental here about the nature of the second edition, right? And that is this, that between the first and second edition, they've gone to then another's duties perfectly, right? Then another's duties perfectly.
Yeah? Thank you. That's better.
Yeah. Well, the addition of the word perfectly comes from this word here, sva-anuṣṭhitāt.
Perfectly.
Which is svanuṣthitāt here, then perfectly done. So it's in the Sanskrit, right? However, it's not in Srila Prabhupada's manuscript. Here it says, it is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties even though they are faulty than that of another's prescribed duties. Than that of others' prescribed duties. If one is destroyed in the course of discharging one's duty, that is also better than being engaged in other duties. Perfectly does not appear in here.
Yeah.
Even though they're faulty, so even though faultily, then another's duties perfectly. What they've done,
They changed the whole thing.
Well, they didn't change the whole thing.
No, but the meaning of the thing is like, it's better to perform your duties faultily with making mistakes, of course, everybody does anyways. It's better to do that, you know. And as you know, there's this saying that if you fall, keep getting up and keep doing it. And then sooner or later you will master it. And how can you do other people's, if you're doing your own duty, you are making mistake. How can you do another one's duty perfectly? I just don't understand. It just changes the whole thing.
Oh, no. So what you're asking there is a philosophical question that we will get to in a minute. And that's an interesting point, because that's what this verse is literally about. Because the common, you know, Bhagavad-gita doesn't need to tell you the common sense thing that everyone already knows, because everyone already knows that. Bhagavad-gita is for telling you the counterintuitive thing.
Yeah, but not everybody has a common sense.
Sure, but let's stay on this point for a second, so you can get what I'm pointing to here.
Muy bien.
Yeah. And that point is that what they've done is they've looked at Srila Prabhupada's manuscript, they've looked at the first edition, and they've gone, Prabhupada got it wrong. We are going to do better than Srila Prabhupada. This is not closer to Prabhupada's manuscript.
Not at all.
In Prabhupada's manuscript, it does not say perfectly.
No.
It does say perfectly in the Sanskrit. And so what they've done is they have added in this, well, Srila Prabhupada has not put in the perfectly, and that's what it says in there, so let's put it in perfectly. So this re-editing here that they've done is not closer to Srila Prabhupada, and it reveals a mentality of improving and doing better than what Srila Prabhupada did, which involves an idea that what Srila Prabhupada did was not deliberate, it was a mistake, and it was an imperfection on his part. We can now do better. And it was done post-1983. Okay, that's very problematic. Now, let's go to the purport and see if we can get some insight into this issue that you've brought up, which is, you know, could you even do it perfectly?
Man.
Okay, why don't you read the purport and let's see if it gives some insight.
One should therefore discharge his prescribed duties in full Kṛṣṇa consciousness rather than those prescribed for others. Prescribed duties complement one's psychological condition.
Not psychological, no.
Psychophysical condition under the spell of the modes of material nature. You see, the nature of the person for this lifetime. Spiritual duties are ordered by ordered by the spiritual master for the transcendental service of Kṛṣṇa, but both materially or spiritually. One should stick to his prescribed duties even after death, rather than imitate another one's prescribed duties. Imitate, as the word, imitate. Duties on the spiritual platform and duties on the material platform may be different, but the principle of following the authorized direction is always good for the performer. When one is under the spell of the modes of material nature, one should follow the prescribed rules for particular situation and should not imitate others. Bam! There you go. Oh, ¿quieres que siga? For example, a brāhmaṇa who is in the mode of goodness is non-violent, whereas a kṣatriya who is in the mode of passion is allowed to be violent. As such, for a kṣatriya it's better to be vanquished following the rules of violence than to imitate a brāhmaṇa who follows the principles of non-violence. Everyone has to cleanse his heart by a gradual process, not abruptly.
However, when one transcends the modes of material nature and is fully situated in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, He can perform anything and everything under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master. In that complete stage of Kṛṣṇa consciousness, the kṣatriya may act as a brāhmaṇa, or a brāhmana may act as a kṣatriya. In the transcendental stage, the distinctions of the material world do not apply. For example, Vishvamitra was originally a kṣatriya, but later on he acted as a brāhmana, whereas Parashurama was a brāhmana, but later on he acted as a kṣatriya. Being transcendentally situated, they could do so, but as long as one is on the material platform, he must perform his duties according to the modes of material nature. At the same time, he must have a full sense of Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I'm interested to see in Srila Prabhupada's original manuscript this particular sentence here. For example, a brahmana who is in the mode of goodness is non-violent, whereas a kṣatriya who is in the mode of passion is allowed to be violent. He's not simply allowed to be violent, he's required to be under certain circumstances. And I wonder if that is
allowed. They're not, for by nature they're in mode of passion.
For example, a brahmin who is in the modes of goodness is ordered to follow non-violence, while a kṣatriya who is in the modes of passion is allowed to be violent, is ordered to follow non-violence. Yeah, okay, so it does have the idea there, but it's in the negation. So it is non-violent, is ordered to be non-violent.
It's ordered to be non-violent.
He's not simply non-violent, he's ordered to be non-violent.
It's not like, oh, can you point it out me? It's too no, the Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
I find it too basic.
Yes.
What about is that?
Here is ordered to follow non-violence, while a kṣatriya who's in the modes of passion is allowed to be violent.
It's allowed. Oh yeah, the war is to be violent.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the changes. Let's go big here. Okay, that's an interesting change. You can perform anything and everything under the direction Okay. This is a change that was made for the zonal acharya system.
Obviously, they need a permission changed by themselves for sure.
Yeah, this is a very clear change for that. So, original manuscript. However, when one transcends the modes of material nature, however, where is it? When one is, however, transcendental to the modes of material nature and is fully situated in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, one can perform anything and everything under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master. He can perform anything and everything under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master. He can perform everything under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. You don't see the change?
Anything and everything under the direction of bona fide master. Of a bona fide master, no a spiritual man, bona fide spiritual master. Under the direction of the bona fide master. Of yeah.
They've made a change to the book to make it fit their. Well, now we have more than one spiritual master because Srila Prabhupada didn't write that. And they're not taking it closer to the manuscript. They're taking it further away from the manuscript because in the manuscript it says the bona fide spiritual master.
Not a bona fide spiritual
Correct.
master.
Yeah.
And they're calling themselves like a bona fide master. Like, I don't think so.
Hey, Chris Copeland's tuning in. Truth Rising TV from Rumble. Shout outs. Thanks for tuning in, brother. Yeah, so it's a conspiracy to change the books to fit an agenda. Anyway, most religions get subverted in this way, but it's funny to see it happening in real time, huh? Right in front of us.
We are part of it, yeah.
Okay, any more changes in here? Let's have a look, and then we can roll on to the. Okay, so here we go. The actual. It's an idea here that it's far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though they may be faulty, even though they are faulty, yeah, than another's duties. Instruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another's duties, for to follow another's path is dangerous. I'll give you a very clear example of this, right?
Yeah.
Contemporary application.
Yeah.
Comes around for like the mandates and the, this is like a consequentialist kind of argument. And this is based on the fact that in the 5th chapter, Kṛṣṇa says that analytical study of the material world and karma yoga, following the shastra, it's funny. How come that's not changing? Unusual. Take it to the same place. So, it's like along comes the government and tells you, you have to do this thing. And if you're following dharma, if you're following your duty, and you're an administrator or whatever, you just tell them no, and then they have to deal with that. Otherwise, if you have the ability to just go, oh, well, I'm just going to change what I'm doing. This is what Arjuna wants to do on the battlefield. He's like, oh, I'm just going to bend the knee, or I'm just going to like walk away from this. I don't want to be bothered. This kind of like forces you to do it, even when you don't want to do it, which is a major theme of Bhagavad-gita, which is when you don't want to do it, you still got to do it anyway. Matra sparshas tu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkha. Agamapaino nityas tams to tikshash vibharata. In the appearance and disappearance of happiness and distress are like the coming and the going of the winter seasons. We're all rugged up because it's so cold here, but that'll go away and then it'll be summer again. It's not like, well, we're just going to like leave because it's cold now and then, abandon the farm and everything. And it doesn't work like that. Nobody achieves anything that way.
Yeah.
And so the idea here is that it's better to do your thing rather than doing someone else's thing, even though it's difficult, it might be faulty, it's whatever, rather than switching it to do someone else's.
Yeah, the thing that another contemporary application for me, like, observe, it's kind of obvious now to see in this guru system and all of these pastors around the world, they are all, like popes, or what do you call this one? Priest. I will go with this guru system. By nature, these people, some of the people, by nature, they're more sudras or maybe vaishyas.
Merchants, like into money making.
Yeah. They're more into that. However, they took the position of to be a brāhmaṇa. And what happened out of this? We see this destruction of the legitimacy of what Srila Prabhupada actually built for this world. And what we see is these people pretending to be brahmanas or gurus, but in actuality, they are not like what a brahmana should be behaving, very in a proper way and conducing the whole world into a Kṛṣṇa conscious thing. They have this private life that are completely different to what they are in the public life. So that is the thing, that is a complete doing or pretending to do perfect. No, I wouldn't say the word perfectly, because Srila Prabhupada didn't say perfectly. pretending to do something, or pretending to be a brahmana, pretending to be like a saintly, when not in actual life, your life is actually of vaishyas or rakshasas or whatever. Your nature is not for that. And they end up entangled on this sexual, what do you call, entanglement with their disciples, children, and all of that. That's because that's not their nature. Because a real brahmana, they are so afraid of making any errors in that, because they are so God conscious, God fearing people, and they don't want to cause that, any of that. And in kṣatriyas, these brahmanas are pretending to be kṣatriyas, it's like, come on. They cannot do the job, like even pretend to do or pretend to be a kṣatriya and do such a great job, because they are not doing right now. I don't see any strong, powerful kṣatriya person in this so-called guru system. They're not. They're either pretending to be so mild and mellow and like,
Well, yeah, they've all signed up for the New World Order,
exactly, yeah,
World Economic Forum program by and large.
If you're a brahmana, how can you not see? How can you not see from far away the smell of all of these situation that Kali Yuga? Now, if you're really brahmana, really, this is the challenge here. You reading the Gita, you reading all of these books, back pages, however many times, and you cannot see that Srila Prabhupada is saying in the scriptures, this is happening right now. In Kali Yuga, this is happening. The demons are fighting this way. This is the characteristic of the demons. They're this, they're that, blah, blah, blah. How can you not see the obvious? Where is all of that reading for 10, 20 years, or however many years there? Where is it? Why are you reading, spending your life 20 years reading those amazing sacred books and you don't get it? That's because you're not a brahmana.
Well, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just how I'm going to say, you know what? Or you're a brahmana and you see things as they are and you follow what Srila Prabhupada and Kṛṣṇa himself is saying, or you are pretending and you're just like, oh, I didn't see that. Oh, but I am a silent person because I've been doing this for 20 years or 25 years. And I have a bunch of people following me, and they're just the sweet talkers.
Well, people have now been doing it for 50 years.
Exactly, for 50 years, and you cannot see the obvious. Like, it's so clear to me to say, you're not a brahman. I'm sorry to tell you, take your saffron and just be real. And there are many people that now, these brahmacharis, they're coming into this consciousness of like, oh, I have to be
no, keep going.
I have to be I have to wear my my saffron collar and pretend to be,
This here better to destruction in the course of performing one's own duty. That's one thing that we saw, was like people sell out on, they avoiding destruction becomes like a goal. Like the whole propaganda around, you have to do these things, you have to follow these measures, you have to adopt, tyranny, you have to bend the knee to tyranny. Otherwise, it's for your own good and for others. It's like, we are here to meet with destruction. We're not afraid of that. So your argument has no meaning to us. But they adopted that. That was one of the things that triggered me to it, was like, so I said in my ISKCON's taking a position on vaccination is a deviation, that if your argument begins with trying to avoid death, it begins with you are the body and ends with trying to avoid death. You've gone very far from Bhagavad-gita.
Yeah.
And that's where they went, and they didn't see it happening. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, it's and that is the thing, that now the young people, they are quite unfortunate. We cannot avoid death. We have to work in a way like death is coming. It's certain, for sure. Could be tomorrow, day after tomorrow. It could be in a year, 2 years, or 30 years, whatever. Do your job properly. Whatever your nature is in this lifetime, do it. I don't know how many times you will make mistake in your process of doing it and becoming better at what you're doing, as long as you do it. And then sooner or later you will accomplish to be a bit more advanced in what you're doing. than pretending and jumping like a flea. Or no, I'm going to be a brahmana today. I have a saffron and I'm going to restrict my senses. But I like ladies, hey? I like ladies, but I want to be a brahmachari, or pretend to be a brahmachari. But inside their heads is just wild, like a tornado, sexual tornado is going on in their heads. It's like, don't do that. It's like you hanging yourself. Because Maya is way more powerful, Maya is way more strong, and you trying to play like a strong, you're not going to avoid this. You're in Maya. Maya is just like tossing you here and there. Because it's something, some people are attracted to women. Some people, don't even have sexual desire. They're just like, whatever. They have like this kind of like not too much attraction to that. And it's fine. These people may be a little bit more into the Brahminical thing. And even if you're a Brahmana, and even if you get married, you still have the nature of a Brahmana. That means your life will be a bit more spiritual, more directed in a very clean life and doing things proper within a relationship, having children and
cursing people,
raising the children that is God conscious
or
on a nice society.
People?
I don't know about that, but anyway.
I never see people doing that, but you see in the Bhagavatam, you see people doing that. They're pronouncing curses on people.
Yeah.
Now these so-called brahmanas, they're like, everything's like all good. They're not like, you don't hear them. They don't, it's the saying, speak truth to power. When we were down in Wellington, there were the guys from Free to Be Church. And then there was that Christian pastor, the finest pastor in America. Remember, he got like $2 million in fines because he just refused to bend the knee.
Yeah, I admire that guy.
That's what I'm saying. It's like that kind of like shakti, that kind of like what do you call it, chutzpah.
That gentleman has the like you said, the shakti, that power of like, I'm reading the Bible and God is saying this. And I have this conviction because God is saying this, so I'm going to do it because it doesn't depend on me. It depends on God. He's saying that to me.
Yeah. So it's this point here. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another's duty. So it's like the fear of destruction. It displaces courage. It displaces loyalty or fidelity. It displaces it.
Yeah.
And then you just
fear
become
destroys fear even destroys your immune system.
Yeah. No one becomes a legend by bending the knee.
No one will become. And that is like a fact.
It's like they say, that is why no one will remember your name.
Yeah, exactly. No one. Absolutely no one.
There's a question here from Chris. Chris is asking, does Patanjali's Yoga Sutras predate this manuscript, or did Patanjali's Yoga Sutras come after?
No idea.
And also, are they related? So this is Bhagavad-gita, which in the 4th chapter is explained has been extant in human society for 2 million years and in the solar system for 120 million years, which like doesn't at all fit with the false history that we're taught about how long humans have been around, human civilization, all that kind of stuff. Patanjali's Yoga Sutras came much later, and the contents and what's in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras is found in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which is called Dhyana Yoga. Yeah, in the 2nd edition, but in the 1st edition it was called Sankhya Yoga. But the traditional name is Dhyana Yoga, of the yoga of meditation. So yeah, they are related, very much so.
Anyways,
contemporary application, yeah. Better to follow your own duty according to your psychophysical nature. And it is that at a certain point, it gets to this point here,
And there's another, what is una palabra clave?
A keyword.
A keyword. According to your
physical nature.
Physical nature. It is bang on. You know, it's me. Another example here. Yeah, it talks about the nature of the person. Every single living entity in this planet has been born with a specific nature. No one can take that away from that person. You cannot try to eliminate and pretend to be something different than that. It is just how it is. It's like the water is just the way, the nature of the water is to be liquid and, formless.
Wet.
That is just the nature. Can the water says, oh, I don't like to be so liquid and formless, and I'm going to be like formful? No.
Or can water be anything other than wet? Like the joke, dehydrated water, just add water.
The water can become like an ice cube, but it still is water. The nature of water is there. Fire is the nature of fire is to be hot, heat. Can the fire say, I don't like to be too hot, so I'm going to be a bit too windy? It doesn't. So that every single entity in this world has
a particular nature.
And work with that nature. I bet not many people know their nature. They're a combination of natures or whatever, but they don't even know. So if we know what is our nature, we have to work with that,
This point here, both materially and spiritually, one should stick to his prescribed duties even up to death.
Yeah.
And the fact that people don't do this is how they're able to pull this all off. You can't have this. Oh, hang on. Let me bring that back on screen. One should stick to his prescribed duties even up to death. You can't have this creeping tyranny when people are operating like that. They're just like, no, we're not moving. And they're like, no, you have to get with the times. You have to do this thing. Things have changed. It's like, no, we're not doing that. But they're able to incrementally shift these entire societies and move them into like a full satanic cabal, it's an interesting word, that actually.
I'll come back to
you. This word here. No, cabal.
Grupo?
Yeah, a cabal is a group of people who are united in some close design, usually to promote their private views or interests in an ideology, a state, or another community, often by intrigue and usually without the knowledge of those who are outside their group. The use of this term usually carries negative connotations of political purpose, conspiracy, and secrecy. It can also refer to a secret plot or clique, or it maybe uses a verb to form a cabal or secretly conspire. Now, I said this once, and then someone, an associate, a colleague, who happened to be Jewish, mentioned this. The term cabal is derived from Kabbalah, a Jewish mystical interpretation of the Hebrew scripture. It came into English via the French Kabbalah from the medieval Latin Kabbalah and was known early in the 17th century. So,
yeah,
I don't know. The point I'm making here is that this word cabal here in the beginning, it's a group of people who unite in some close design. That there is like a well-known sort of way of using it, but basically they were saying that it was anti-Semitic to use that term because it comes from Kabbalah. And I was like, I never said that they were Jewish. I mean, you know how that we get onto that. Anyway, I mentioned the word cabal there, and I just wanted to point that out. That it's not, let me put it another way. It wouldn't be possible to move these societies towards these asuric end states that they're being moved towards. And if you have a look at the backstory of the Bhagavad-gita itself, Duryodhana, who's on the other side on this battlefield, is secretly conspiring in order to remove the Pandavas and reshape the society the way that he wants to. And it turns out in the Mahabharata, which is the larger work that the Bhagavad-gita is in, that behind Duryodhana himself is a shadowy group of entities who are not human beings, who are actually manipulating the situation in this way. And then Bhagavad-gita is literally spoken in the middle of that by Sri Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead to Arjuna on the battlefield as a human being, saying, this is how you counteract this thing. This is what you need to do. And that's like literally what this book is. Spoken in the middle of the battlefield in that situation. We're in that situation now, and it's like right there. You got to stick to your prescribed duty even up to death. And he's telling Arjuna, you're not the body. If your body is destroyed, it doesn't matter. You will not be destroyed. So don't worry about that. Don't abandon your duty to try to save your body and avoid death. It is better to stick to your prescribed duty even up to death. Now, facing against a population of people who are like that, it's impossible to get this stuff over. The first thing that you need to do to get this over on people is you need to convince them that they are the body.
Yeah, obvious.
And that, you know, that you have to, the whole goal of life is to try to stop your body from dying, because if the body dies, you die, and then it's like game over. When you understand that you're the spiritual living entity inhabiting the body, like the body's like an avatar or like a, you know, a first person shooter character, and then you just, you know, where was I before I was in this body? Another one, you get another one afterwards, then the whole game changes. Yeah. Anything else you want to say about this before we go to the Tereo translation?
Anything else? Yeah, I guess the main thing here is about fear. And you know, they keep infiltrating, they keep pushing the fear of like losing something, you know. What else can I hear in their advertisement of people? I mean, on this tyrannical government tactic, losing, loneliness, separation, and what else are they using?
They're also exploiting
Neglect,
people's desire to be good, right?
I know. So there's these things like this, the weakening part, it is those things. And then alongside they like, you know, what is the positive thing that the people normally like? They're like groups, family relationship with family, and being confident, having your own money, and being good, doing good, you know. So they're
saving the world.
Yes, doing something greater for other people.
Yeah, they're destroying the world and telling you you're saving the world.
Yeah, so that is the thing, like psychologically how they weaken people. They use this one like, or you know, if you don't do this one, you don't want to get lonely, you know. You're gonna
lose your job.
If you don't do this, you will be lonely, you will be neglected, you will be isolated, and all of that. And if you are really good, this is, you know, you will spend good time with your family, you will do this, and you will just like, so people end up a conflict of fear, because this is the thing of human beings that are not only afraid, but they love this relationship, the unity and all of that. And they're playing up with this. The brain is just so mashed up that these people are just like, oh my gosh, fear. And they have to go through that. But guess what? By following what they're following, you're actually going to die sooner than you meant to.
Yeah. Okay, let's try it in Tereo Māori and get a different perspective on it through another lens into the world, another language. Tereo Māori, here we go. Here's verse 335 from Bhagavad-gita As It Is. This is ChatGPT 4. Okay, it's using edition 2. That's okay. Okay, so it's given us a translation into Te Reo Māori, and then what we do to double check it is we'll feed the translation. Pi. Negate. Okay, it's giving us the word for word. So then once we get the whole word for word out here, Mahi duties, another, other, for, because the thing, reason is dangerous. The path of. Okay, cool. So what we'll do now is we'll grab the translation that it's given us in Te Reo and we'll reverse translate it back into English to see if it's a good translation or not. I mean, this doesn't prove it, but it gets us. It is better to accomplish a chosen task, even with mistakes, than to do someone else's perfectly. It's better to refuse the time accomplishing one's own paths than to follow the tasks of someone else, because the path of another is treacherous. This part here, it's better to refuse the time accomplishing one's own tasks.
Yeah, it's incorrect.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, and then we got one that can do it as a poem. So we punch it in here, and we'll give it as a poem.
Do we need that?
Yeah, because this one's closer to. This is going to be closer to the style of Bhagavad-gita. And then let's translate this one back to English to see how. Poetic, here's an English translation. It's better your chosen deeds, even mistakes, stand truly so. Don't follow the path of another. Treacherous is the different road. Boom. That's so much better.
Well, the thing is, like, even your own journey is dangerous. What makes you think that other people's journey is going to be like full of daisies? Like, where's the common sense?
It's talking about a different type of danger here.
Yeah. They're not dangerous, treacherous, or
No, it's
dangerous. Doing other people's.
No, the danger of it is alien invasion of the earth. No, like for real. See, the point you just made there is like life is dangerous either way, right? Padam yad vipadam. There's danger at every step in life. If you think that the danger is maybe I'll die or maybe I'll get sick, there's no avoiding that. That's going to happen no matter what. You can't avoid that. But the point that's being made there is that what happens when people start abandoning their duties is like, Chris made this comment earlier. He said, "This is nice. I'll share this with my fiance. Glad to listen along as I perform my duties as a cog in the wheel of the eye in the sky." That's what happens is, see, humanity, each person is like a component in a machine, in a divine arrangement on the planet. And where people start abandoning their posts, when they start abandoning their duty, what happens is that divine machine stops working and it weakens the fabric. And what happens then is these demonic entities are able to incarnate on the surface of the earth and take control of it. That's literally the danger that's been spoken about here.
The other thing that I just came to my head is like, okay, so you have your karmic baggage in this lifetime. Let's say your nature for you is to be what do you call this one? A Vaishya. Okay, your Vaishya nature. So your full life prediction or whatever, it's already written in the sky. All right. So Kṛṣṇa knows already about it. And then you want to do the job of a kṣatriya. How can you even perform the job of a kṣatriya when you already have your karmic and your nature life, your karmic baggage, this job of a kṣatriya? It wouldn't go anyways. Even kṣatriyas being as a fighter and, fiery, or they all have their own karmic baggage to go through. It is just, I don't know. I don't see it possible. I don't see it possible for them to do that job. Like in the second edition, perfectly. I don't think that word should be there. I don't think so. I don't think these people even thought well before putting that word into that. Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because there's more philosophical questioning that it needs to go into with the meaning what Srila Prabhupada is saying. In the meaning of like, okay, we are born with this type of nature, and then we are meant to be performing this type of duties in our lifetime, and then we choose to be this. How is it gonna work? It won't. It is just gonna be a disturbance playing. You play your character as a kṣatriya or whatever you choose.
Okay, let's have a look at the Te Reo Māori. He pai ake o mahi e tohua. Hakoa hapa tino pumau ra. ¿Mm? ¿Tú quieres decirlo?
Sí.
Okay.
Okay. He pai ake o mahi e tohua. Ahakoa hapa tino pumau ra.
It's pumaura.
Pumaura. Kaua whai I te ara o te tahi morearea te huarahi ke ra. Huarahi ke ra.
Okay, and let's see if we've got the word for words for those. The word for word. It's going a bit slow.
Nope.
The nursery rhyme version of it,
It's rolling.
the rhyme version it came out with is good. Let's grab this poem.
I thought you already did that.
Translate you to Māori and say, hang on. Please give me a word for word list for the following te reo. Here's a word for word translation. Indicative particles. Tohua, chosen. Ahako, even though. Hapa, mistake. Tino, truly. Pumau, steadfast, firm. Ra, emphasis. Indeed, certainly. Kaua. 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 Don't.
Kaua.
By, pursue or follow. Yep. I te ara, the path. O te tahi, another. Mōrearea, dangerous. Te huarahi, road. Ge ra. Okay, cool. Here we go. The essence conveys the idea that one should value their own chosen work even if there are flaws because it is genuine and steadfast. Following another's path can be treacherous, emphasizing the importance of authenticity and the potential dangers of trying to emulate someone else.
Perfect. Yeah.
Oh, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Let's put it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, to the Sanskrit to finish. You want to do the Sanskrit?
śreyān sva-dharmo viguṇaḥ, para-dharmāt sv-anuṣṭhitāt,
Svanuṣthitāt.
svanuṣthitāt. Yeah. Sva-dharme, nidhanaṁ, śreyaḥ, para-dharmo, bhaya-āvahaḥ.
Bhaya-āvahaḥ.
Bhaya-āvahaḥ, sí. Mis ojitos están jugando.
It is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though they may be faulty, than another's duties.
Mr. Faulty. Okay.
Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another's duties, for to follow another's path is dangerous. Thanks for tuning in. See you in the next one tomorrow. Okay, dime.
You know, in Spanish, there is a saying.
Okay.
Even the monkey dressed in gold will still be a monkey. Yeah, and I think we need to apply for this one. Even like these gurus and priests or whatever, you know, there are rakshasas pretending to be a brāhmanas. Silently, you won't be, because you're just a rakshasa and that is your nature in this lifetime. Sad. Just perform your duties as a rakshasa nicely.
Param Vijayate Sri Kṛṣṇa Sankirtanam. Total world victory of Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Jai Shri Kṛṣṇa.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.